You guys having a good time tonight? Any first-timers here? Raise your hand so I know who not to talk to. All right, first-timer, 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome. Nice to have you all here. My name's Billy. Bill for short, Bill for long, nothing more, nothing less. We're going to go over some executor things, and that has to do with estates. And it's... If you guys don't understand that yet, we can get into it a little bit after the meeting, just a little bit so you understand. So I don't want to lose you. But a few years ago, approximately on your birth date, there was a death. Your birth certificate is the proof of that death. Anything spelled in all capital letters name, if you look up definitions into the U.S. Code, it says that it is a deceased or a vessel. It can be any of those things, or a corporation. The word corporation, we know, comes from the word corpse, which means a dead thing. So as we learn these terminologies and what they really mean and how they apply to our lives, it's really great to understand the word executor. Now, I like to call it an executor, because they execute things. They execute plans. They execute problems. And I'm just going to go on a little bit about this and read it to you so you understand. And if you are a secured party creditor or a principal, this is really good information so that you understand how we're supposed to conduct ourselves. It says, it's both an honor and a burden to serve as someone's executor, as an executor is entrusted with responsibility for winding up someone's earthly affairs. A big or little task depending on the situation. Essentially, an executor is charged with protecting a deceased person's property until all debts and taxes have been paid, and seeing that what's left is transferred to the people who are entitled to it. The law does not require an executor, also called a personal representative, to be a legal or financial expert, but it does require the highest degree of honesty, impartiality, and diligence. This is called the fiduciary duty. The duty to act with scrupulous good faith and honesty on behalf of someone else. Executors have a number of duties, depending on the complexity of the deceased person's financial and family circumstances. Typically, an executor must, and I'm just going to go over the all bold things here, find the deceased person's assets and manage them until they are distributed to inheritors. Decide whether or not probate court proceedings are needed. Figure out who inherits property. File the will in the local probate court. Handle day-to-day details. Set up an estate bank account. Use estate funds to pay continuing expenses. Pay debts. Pay taxes. And supervise the distribution of the deceased person's property. That sounds very boring, doesn't it? I mean, it's just kind of a bummer. But what if, for entertainment purposes only, we were talking about your legal entity? Your name in all capital letters is an entity. Some refer to a trust. So if that legal entity died at birth, and you've been walking along not understanding that there is a large fortune there for you to take care of all the issues that we just talked about, wouldn't that be great if you were the executor?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say we read this again with that in context. I find out that the heir to all of this wealth, because I was born in America, has been given to a trustee that may fall under a heading of U.S., and they have been acting as the executor because I'm not old enough to understand all that. Let's say I'm a juvenile delinquent, like they call me in Title 18, because I haven't stepped up to the plate and said, hey, I'm the executor and I'm going to do some things here to show that. Let's say I revoke power of attorney and I appoint myself as the settler. Does that sound good? And now I'm going to settle all the things that are required, and I'm going to do them with honesty, impartiality, and diligence. So the first thing I want to do is I want to notify the Social Security Administration that the guy that they're representing died. And now I need to notify maybe some alphabet companies, corporations that are saying that there's some debt owed to, maybe taxes. So I would open up an account so that I could affect payment to all those entities. Does that make sense? This is exciting stuff because the accounts are real and the players are all real and the actors are real in their real matrix. So now if we pay off all the taxes in, let's say, an executor situation where there was a trust and the person died, that would be the testator. Okay, so the testator is gone and we need to settle up. Because as soon as we get all the taxes paid and we get all the debt paid, now there's some extra things that we need to do. We need to find out who the beneficiaries are. I like that because I would like to be the beneficiary. And as the executive